Good morning. I'm just savoring these last couple of moments of noble silence. In a time where busyness starts to become the status quo, it's nice to linger in silence, or relative silence at least, or non-doing, non-aspiration. My cats, on the other hand, are very wild this morning. If you can hear Oliver in the background. We're continuing on our eightfold path of practice that we started, let's see, a few weeks ago. Where have we come from? We started with right speech, right action, right living, right effort we had last week, halfway there. Today we are on right mindfulness. And if you were here with us since the beginning, this is kind of where I started offering these practices in our deep dive on, of course, the Satipatthana Sutta. And the Eightfold Path is really cool for me, hopefully for you as well, in that it offers these really digestible, like check-ins, or this really digestible framework. As you recall, I've said this quite often now. Before paper or the written word was mass produced or mass available, frameworks and repetition, especially out loud, were helpful and supportive for those who are on this journey. We now benefit from not only, it's kind of gone not even full circle. We've gone from verbal to writing with paper and pen, and now not even needing any of that digital format. So, our practice today for mindfulness, excuse me, we'll take a little bit of time chunking out those major categories of mindfulness. And as we often do in our practice, we're starting in the body. We go from the biggest parts of our experience into the more subtle and abstract. And the body is such a concrete experience. Even though it changes, I'm thinking about our very basic understanding of what it means to be. There's arising, sustaining, and falling away. And when I think of that word, grounded or real or tactile or firm, terra firma, or the earth, even over time, things that are more concrete than the body change, right? Like I think about the Grand Canyon, which was carved out over, I don't even know, I'm not even going to venture to guess how many years. Or think about a piece of sandstone in the wind and in the water that gradually changes over time. Those are some really big concrete examples of how even a mountain changes over time. Body is the most portable, probably close example of where we can find grounding and a little bit of stability, but know that it is also in flux. So, for our first chunk of time today, body, what's here? What is here in the body? We'll stick with this for a little bit of time. And a key point to keep in the periphery of your mindfulness practice is that this is noticing and observing without judgment. When I was teaching flow yesterday, one of my students is an architect, and we were talking about building versus uncovering. So, architecture versus archaeology. Excuse me. Next week, we will get into the cultivation of focus. And to me, that is a little bit of like the building aspect of practice. Whereas here, we're trying to stay in the uncovering. We're not trying to make the body into a shape or a state, even. Like, I wish my knees weren't so cranky or, whatever it is. We're uncovering, we're on an archaeological excavation of what's here. From the body, we start to go a little bit more abstract and try to notice feelings. Now, this layers on a little bit with observations of the body, physical sensations, body in space, whether the spine is upright or a little compressed, where your sit bones are making contact with the floor. And everybody has natural preferences. Is it pleasant or unpleasant? Now, this starts to get tricky already. Pleasant, neutral, no feeling about it whatsoever. Unpleasant, we're not getting into a judgment of what's happening. Rather, we're trying to stay neutral, neutral feeling towards feeling. Just what's the natural preference? And we can be curious about it. Stay with that archaeologist hat. We go more into the abstract by becoming mindful of the mind itself, citta. This is observation of mental states. That could be thoughts, ideas, anticipations in the mind, even emotions. Um, Emotions have always been tricky for me to understand. The way I've come to somewhat grasp emotions is that initial rising, usually through the body, either a physical or a chemical, or maybe both, rising in the fraction of a second, and how that percolates, brews, or flashes in some cases into the mind as a thought or a reaction. You might observe the speed of your thoughts and emotions, the quality. non-judgmental. Stay here for a little bit. And finally, awareness of mental objects. Another one of those that are really difficult. So if it's too abstract, it's all good. It is for me. I say that non-judgmentally. This is the examination of concepts in and of themselves or abstractions, ideas. When I was in college, I stumbled upon this. Um, I don't even remember what it was called. It was some kind of a language class, but more focused on like how we use language. I think that's probably what stoked my initial interest in words and even like how the alphabet is organized. But anyway, abstraction, the thing that always comes to mind, there's two actually. One is this classic study of language where there's an image of a cow, and you attribute the word cow to this image. And then you start to unwind it. Like the word cow isn't the cow itself. The photo cow or illustration cow isn't the cow itself either. But we use these concepts, we use language, we use abstraction so that we can share in a community experience of talking about cow. If you're in Wisconsin, hopefully you know what cow is. Maybe you personally know a cow. On my new farm that I live on, my neighbor has cows, and early in the morning I hear them. So it's a fun practice. Or if cow doesn't resonate, maybe map does. If you're going somewhere new, maps are very helpful. Somebody who's been there before has written down what they've experienced of land or roads or topography, but the map isn't the place itself. It's a concept. And this is where we get really abstract and understanding and unwinding karma, like what we've come to our sit with, our cultural and social conditioning, how words have mapped and maybe directed our experience. I know that's highly abstract, and I share that with you because I continue to try to unwind this part of mindfulness in my own life. So maybe you pick just one concept. A concept I was thinking about yesterday was when I was painting, painting my bedroom. Many years ago, my mom said something that has always stuck with me. It's so weird. You know those naps that you put on a roller to paint your room? She buys the cheap ones and then just throws them away after she's painted the room, whatever. She doesn't even try cleaning it because it's a pain. And she was joking. She's like, excuse me, I've reached a certain level of wealth in my life where I can just throw these away. And like environmental impact aside, it's kind of funny, right? Like the $2 roller. So when I was painting yesterday, I was thinking about like, I'm not there yet. I'm not at that level of wealth where I can throw away a $2 roller. It's just funny. But wealth is the concept. And then of course in my head I went down this spiral of like all the ways in which wealth is a huge social construct, right? Like your health is an incredible source of wealth. Where you feel confident in the West, the money or income, I say those separately because if you were fortunate enough to be born into wealth and you don't need income, for many of us, we do. So maybe those are some ways to start thinking about concepts, mindfulness of concept itself, wealth or cow or map. Spend a little bit of time in the abstract and become mindful of it. And for these last couple of minutes in our practice, you can release any mindfulness and just a couple of moments here to ride the wave of experience. We are in a time and place where we don't need to memorize the Eightfold Path or recite it every single day for it to be front of mind, since we have resources. You can Google the Eightfold Path anytime during the day. It's on the Insight website as well under resources. Maybe we can take a note from our ancient practitioners. Is there an object that you can return to throughout the day and maybe check in somewhere along the Eightfold Path? I continue to wear a mala every day. I prefer the mala on my wrist. So when I get a glimpse of it, I do change it out so that it stays fresh, different colors, different materials. It serves as a moment of mindfulness. How can you take this practice off the cushion and into the real world? Not that this isn't real, maybe the busy world, the less constructed world. Hands to heart center if that serves you in a way to close our practice. May the merits of this practice be of benefit to all sentient beings. We include ourselves in the circle of compassion today and every day. Thank you so much for your practice this morning. Have a beautiful day.